Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be working on the March 2020 SAT questions, and we're going to be working on the math section non-calculator. So today I'm going to do the first 10 questions, and in my next video I'll do the other 10 since there are 20 questions total. Alright, so let's start with number 1. The table shows some values of x and their corresponding values of y. Which of the following shows a possible relationship between x and y? So remember in my previous videos I've talked about how substituting is the best way to solve these. So I'm always trying to choose values that have 0 in them because that's the quickest. So 0 plus 2 is 2, so we're good with that one. 0 minus 2 is negative 2, so that doesn't work. 0, if I plug in here, is 0 plus 3, which is 3, and here 0 minus 2 is 2. So this was actually the most easiest question. It's just A. Okay? Alright, let's keep going. Question number 2 is right here. So this question is a little more geometry based. In the figure shown, line J is parallel to line K, and line L is parallel to line M. So what is the value of X is the question. So we're going to use some of the angles we talked about, like vertical angles, corresponding angles, that sort of thing to help us solve this problem. So if this is the value we're trying to find, we know this is 40 and this is 80, okay? So using corresponding angles, if this is 40, not a corresponding, I'm sorry about that, alternate interior angles, we can it's safe to assume that this is 40 as well, okay? So that's 40. And then this is a 180 degree line. So we know that this is 140 degrees. It's a 180 degree line. And then we know this has to be 40 again, just because this is 40 and 40 are vertical angles. And then this, and that means this would also be 40 because it is a corresponding angle, which makes this 40 degrees because they are vertical angles now. So we're just using our idea of alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, vertical angles, and corresponding angles. So make sure you look back at that stuff. Those stuff are pretty straightforward. As long as you have a transversal and two parallel lines, it's safe to assume the congruency between corresponding angles, vertical angles, alternate interior and alternate exterior angles. All right. Let's keep going. Question number 3. The function f is defined as this. What is the value of f of 4? So this is the most easiest question because you're just plugging in 4 for x. So 4 squared is 16 minus 5 times the 4 plus 6. So we can go left to right in PEMDAS. 16 minus 20, because 5 times 4 is 20, is negative 4 plus 6 is 2. It's because 6 minus 4 is 2, so our answer is B. All right, let's keep going. Question number 4. All right, this one's a little bit longer, but it's okay. We have no problem. Arshila can spend up to a total of $20 on streamers and balloons for a party, so she can only spend up to, so she can't spend anything greater than 20. So therefore C and D would be knocked off right away. So our simple question is this. Streamers cost $1.49 per pack and balloons cost $4.39 per pack. So which of the following inequalities represents a situation where S is the number of packs of streamers? So pack of streamers would be 1.49 S. And then balloons would have to be 4.39 B. Sorry, I meant to write 9, not B. 9 and then a B, of course. All right, B for that she can buy. So obviously, you won't obviously subtract them. That doesn't make sense. You're trying to find the total amount when you buy balloons and streamers and make sure that doesn't go over 20. And so therefore it would have to be B. So you'd add up the prices for the streamers and balloons that you bought and make sure that it doesn't go over $20. All right. Let's go to number 5. Bill is planning to drive 1,000 miles to visit his family. If he plans to drive 250 miles per day, which of the following represents the remaining distance in miles Billy will have to drive to reach his family after driving N days? So that means we're trying to figure out, okay, so let's say pretend he travels 120 miles per day. So let's say N days. So let's say after 1 day, right, he would have driven RE 250. So therefore he would have been left with 750 miles to drive, right? Because 1,000 minus 250 is 750 miles. After 1 day of driving, he would have 750 miles left. So let's plug in 1 and see what we get. So this one doesn't make sense, right? That obviously wouldn't make sense. Okay? And 1 over here wouldn't make sense. So we're left with two values. We're left with this one, B, and we're left with D. We get 750. Now let's try 2 days. After 2 days, right, each day he spends 250. So 250 times 250, 250 plus 250 is 500. So 1,000 minus 500 is 500 miles. So after 2 days, he would have left 500 miles in distance. So now let's plug in 2. So when you plug in 2, obviously this doesn't equal 500, but this one does. So as you can see, D would work. So after 2 days, it would be 500 miles left. After 1 day, it would be 750. So after 3 days, it would be 250 miles left to drive. Because each day he's driving 250. And you have to subtract that from the 1,000 because it's asking what is the remaining distance after each day. And that's what D stands for. All right, let's do this one. Which of the following is equivalent to the given expression? So obviously you can't add them or subtract them unless they have the same base or if they're the same variable type. So x cubed would stay the same and x squared would have to stay the same. But then x plus minus x would just be 0. So you're only left with one option, which is C. Because this is not multiplication, that's why these wouldn't work. This is adding. And you can't add x cubed and x squared. Those are two different powers. You can't add them. So therefore you'll be left with this. And the reason why it's not 2x is because x minus x is 0. All right, let's keep going. Number 7. So the table is given here some values of x and the corresponding f of x values, which are basically the y values. And it's just asking which of one could be the graph for this function right here. So I would start with trying to see 0, 2. As I said, I love zeros, right? So 0 and 2, this is good. B is good with 0, 2. Let's see. Right? I'm just going to go down a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, C doesn't work because it's at 0, 0, and there's no such point at 0, 0 in the table. So obviously that wouldn't work. So we're going to cancel that out. Okay? So I'm going to put these letters here, and I'm just going to write C off. So that's what that means. All right, now how about the next point? So C is gone. Now let's try the next point. How about 1, 7? Okay, I would start with the next lowest. I feel would be easier. So 1, 7. Let's see. So 1, 7. As you can see, this doesn't make sense because it's not even touching 7. It's going beyond 7 for A. So A doesn't work. For 1, 7, it's not even touching. Same thing for 10. How about D? Let's see. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong value. Look at me. 1, 7. As you can see, it touches 6. It doesn't touch 7. So A is gone. This one, 1, 7. It's same thing. It touches 6. It doesn't touch 7. So we're gone. How about D? 1, 7. So you can see it's in between 6 and 8, which is 7. But just for sake-keeping, I will try negative 2, negative 2 to help us. So negative 2, 2 for this first one. So this is negative 2, 2. So it should be right here. And there isn't. So this one doesn't work. A doesn't work. This one is negative 2, 2. It should be right here, which doesn't work. Here we have negative 2, 2, which is right here, which does work. So our final answer would have to be D. All right. Okay, let's keep going. All right, question number 8. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to the given expression where x is not equal to negative 2? So we're given this, right? So the easiest way to solve this is canceling, right? So you can cancel the top and you can cancel one of the factors on the bottom. So you'll be left with 1 over x plus 2. Because you're canceling off this and this one each from the top and bottom, which you're left with B. Easiest one. 9. Which of the following is an equation of the line in the xy that contains the 0.13 and 515? So I recommend plug in 1 and then y for 3. So A works, B does not because 1 times 2 is 2, 2 plus 5 is 7, so that's out. This one works, this one 1, and then you get 1/3, which is out. Now we have to check 5 and 15. So we get 5, 15, here we get 5 and 7. So 5 plus 2 is 7, so that doesn't work, so we're left with A. Y equals 3x as our equation. So I always recommend whenever we're doing these type of questions, substitute, eliminate. Those are the best way to solve these problems. All right, number 10. In a given equation, b is a constant. If the equation has infinitely many solutions, what is the value of b? So here you use algebra to solve. So let's do that. So we have 4x plus b. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides because I want to get rid of the denominator. So that's what I'm going to do here. So obviously we distribute that 2. So it'd be 4x plus 16. And look at here, 4x, 4x, b, b. So that means b would have to be d, which is 16. All right. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please put them down below, or any more SAT tutorials you would like, please let me know, and goodbye.